So, how was the quiz? Medium, easy, hard, difficult? Well, technically, three of the questions are still from the practice quiz. So you guys, I guess you guys don't like repeat questions or something because I see a lot of mediums.
Hard to need HRD.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess the intention is to, keep the levels down. So
The intention is to?
intention is to, keep the level here. So that's why medium and medium hards.
Yep. Yeah, I know. Well, yes, we were going to cover all the things that we have covered so far. So usually whenever I submit a quiz that is going to cover all of the things that we have covered so far. So we covered till insertion sort, recurrence relations. So we have things up to that, but all the other questions where I believe should have been common from the practice quiz sessions, right? Manonia, are the videos not uploaded to YouTube yet? Well, you guys are complaining about the quiz, but I see that almost all of you scored quite well in the quizzes. So, you guys want to know the minimum grade that you guys got? Yes, Matt, you guys are gifted. You guys are quite talented. You guys want to know the minimum grade that you guys got in this quiz? Out of 50, I want you guys to guess. Yep, Mohammed is correct. 40 is the minimum grade that all of you got out of 50. So you guys learned up about some recurrence things, I guess. Not so Matt, not for the quiz because you guys are doing quite great. If there is going to be a curve, it might be for the exam, but that depends upon the exam when we have it, whenever we have it. But essentially, yes. So yeah, you guys did quite well. I guess only one student is missing from this quiz, and I have to deal with that. But yeah, apart from that. Is the exam going to be in a similar format? No, the exam is not going to be similar to the quiz. I will talk about the exam in the exam format in more detail later, and we will have a practice exam before we have the actual exam, so you don't have to worry about that. So another thing, so before we begin today's class, we are also going to talk about the homework that was posted. Yeah. So I posted a homework assignment for next week. So you guys should have access to this particular homework now. And before I go on explaining the homework, I do have one weird question though. So I know that this is an online class. Can someone tell me, like all of you tell me, if you're taking this class from the US or are you taking this class from outside US? And since it's a graduate class, I'm going to go on a leap here and say, how many of you are from India? Like taking this class from India, because times in India right now are like midnight. I have 1, I have 2, I have 3, 4. Cool. So Hope this is fun for you guys as well. So, okay, so doesn't really matter as long as you guys keep on attending the class. And do let me know if you have any questions. I have posted my office hours. My office hours are going to be Wichita time, that is Central American time, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And at any point in time, if you want to take this particular, if you want to discuss anything, just join in this meeting office hour time. Just use the link that I've provided in the Blackboard link, and you should be connected to my Zoom meeting link. Okay, so I have posted, can you provide us a detailed syllabus? I think the syllabus, so Prajakta, I think the syllabus is posted online. Initially, we are going to be talking about this analysis of algorithms and recurrence relations. And quite soon, we are going to talk about some graph algorithms. And then we are going to talk about dynamic programming. And then we are also going to talk about some network flow stuff. And it should all be there in the syllabus. At the bottom half of the syllabus, I think, but it should be there in the syllabus. Cool. Okay, so I hope everyone has looked through the homework I have posted. So the homework has 3 questions. The first question is, given this code, analyze the complexity or the time complexity of this particular code. So the code in question is, let me just zoom in a bit. So the code in question is, it has 2 for loops. The first for loop goes from I in the range of 2 to n, and then we set a flag equals 0, and then for k in range of 2 to square root of I, we have this if condition, and then we, depending upon this flag variable, we print something out, and then we are done. So essentially, given this code, you guys need to figure out the time complexity of this particular code. So I will not explain that much about this code, but can someone tell me what this particular code does? And if you are not familiar with Python code, you can. Yes, it is prime numbers, obviously, but what would this code do? Okay, let me give you much more clear answers. Does it find the first n prime numbers, or does it find prime numbers within n? Within n numbers. So does it find first n prime numbers, or does it find prime numbers within n numbers? Within n. So Matt, is it going to be, so Matt thinks that, and since this is the first homework, I'm going to be a bit more lenient with you guys, and I'm going to discuss some of the solutions with you. Matt, is it correct that it is going to be an n squared complexity? We have to mention the constant time used if conditions, or just ignore. You can ignore the if conditions if necessary. That does not really matter in terms of large n values. So I will allow you guys to give me some answers for question number 1. What might be the time complexity for question number 1? What do you guys think? Is it n squared? Is it always going to be n squared if we have 2 loops? Is it n squared even if my range of values goes from 2 to this thing? And secondly, does anybody have any problem with Python code? I would like to know that first. Does everyone here understand Python code? Let me rephrase my question before all of you answer yes. Does anyone have a problem with Python? Cool. So if nobody has a problem, it might not be n squared, but it can be something else. Since my internal loop goes from 2 to square root of I, it might not be n squared, but it might be n times something, right? It might be n times something. So you guys need to provide me the time complexity of this particular code, n times whatever, and then explain to me how you came up with that particular complexity. Now, the second question is, given these functions, you need to tell me what the values of these particular functions are. The first function is log of, within brackets, 4 to the power of 4, and then 4. Then we also have log to the power of 4 of the value 4, and then we also have 4 factorial square root of 4. So you need to tell me the values of these particular functions. And then finally, so Matt, when we say range 2 to n, that essentially means all numbers 2 to n minus 1. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to n minus 1. Okay. And then the final question is worth 60 marks. Yes. It's 2, 1 and 2, 2 not the same. Yes, Panthi, are you talking about question number 2? If you are talking about question number 2, they are not the same. You need to figure out why they are not the same, and we talked about this, and you need to tell me the answers to both of those. Okay, now question number 3. Question number 3 is worth 60 marks, so essentially 20 points per question. And the first question is, you need to tell me if this particular condition is true or false. 2 to the power of n plus 1 equals 2 to the power of big O of 2 to the power of n, and 2 to the power of 2n equals big O of 2 to the power of n. And finally, you need to show me whether Tn, whether Tn equals 2t n by 2 plus 17 plus n is in n log n, and Tn n by 2 plus of 1 is within big O of log n. And remember, if you want to show something, that you want to prove something that has a big O complexity, you need to show 2 things. The first thing is, what is the minimum value of n0 after which the conditions hold? And secondly, what is the value of the constant c for which your big O condition holds, right? And can someone tell me, would these 2 things be enough, or would I need a third, or would I need a second constant for big O? For big O complexity, do I need 2 constant values, or do I need a single constant value?
For big O, it should be a single constant, right?
Single constant.
For what theta, it's 2, right?
Exactly. So for theta complexity, that is the average case complexity, you are right. For average case complexity, we need 2 constants to give you the complexity of both of those equations. But for big O, we just need the 1c. So for this particular question number 3, you need to provide me n0, and you need to provide me the value of c for which these conditions hold or they do not hold, and you need to show one or the other. Any questions?
For question 3, sub 2 and sub 3?
For question, could